Okay, we're live. Welcome to another Nerd Stalker interview. Good morning. This is Greg Valoria, aka Social Greg on Twitter for the Nerd Stalker Media Network. Today we're speaking with Shane Skinner, CEO of Record360. We'll be talking about this new service that just launched. Well, not just launched, but launched a few years ago. But it's fairly new service in everyone's mind to help with rental, car, truck, or anything you rent disputes. And we'll let Shane talk about that in a little bit later. But anyway, good morning, Shane, and welcome to Nerd Soccer Live from Seattle, right?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Greg. I appreciate it.
Well, so let's get into this, and why don't you tell the Nerd Soccer audience about a little bit about yourself, your background? I thought it was interesting when we were talking offline, and about Record360 and why you developed it.
Yeah, sure thing. So I worked for Enterprise Rent-A-Car for 16 years. It's the largest car rental company in the world, and I started with them in Philadelphia. They sent me out to Europe. I was there for 4 years. Sent me to Los Angeles. I was there for 4. Sent me to. They told me I got promoted to Wisconsin. I still question that when there's 2 feet of snow on the ground in February. But so I went to Wisconsin. I was there for 3, and then I ended my career. I was with them for close to 5 years here in Seattle, overseeing the Northwest. So Washington, Alaska, parts of Idaho, and Oregon. And everywhere I went, we had the same problem, which was the exchange of assets during the rental process. We were using the little 1-inch by 1-inch paper diagrams to document the condition of our vehicles. And you put your little X's and O's on it. You give a $40,000 asset to a customer, and they're on their way. So with that, that antiquated process is what we found was we were losing a lot of money in missed damages that wasn't captured during that exchange process. And when we did find damages on the vehicles and we engaged the customers, a lot of times they didn't, because there were comprehensive type losses, they didn't realize they had maybe done it. Maybe it was done in a parking lot, maybe they let their friend borrow the car, wherever the case may be. But there was a lot of damages that the customers felt we were accusing them of that they had not thought they caused, or it may have happened during a previous rental. So what we found with that is whenever we engaged somebody on something they didn't think they did, they didn't feel really good about it, and we were losing a lot of customers during that process. And then the third big piece was, we're renting billions in vehicles, doing billions in asset exchanges every year as a company, and we had absolutely no clue as a management team what our product quality looked like. And the car rental industry is it's become very commoditized. So you're only competing on a few things: pricing, customer service, and condition of your assets, because everyone's pretty much renting the same car. You differentiate your product by having a cleaner car, with in better condition. And we had no clue. We were literally flying blind in terms of asset quality, vehicle quality. So I'm like, there has got to be a better way than 1-inch by 1-inch paper diagrams of a vehicle. So I went, and I saw some industry trends. You had the advent of Dropbox, so you had video file sharing. So I'm like, okay, if we rented a car in Seattle and dropped it in Los Angeles, we could pull down that file. Network speeds were improving, so the days of uploading a heavy data file taking an hour, now that takes literally seconds. And then the biggest thing was every time a new device came out, whether it's tablet or phone, the big feature that's usually touted in the marketing efforts is the camera quality, the pixelation quality. And it's gotten to the point where I bought my wife a really fancy camera for my 1-year-old and 4-year-old to take photos, and but I'm using my phone for almost all the photos because it's easier to use, and the quality of the photos are as good, if not better, than an expensive camera that we've got. So I saw these 3 industry trends, technology trends, and I'm like, I think I'm onto something here. There's an opportunity to create a better solution to solve, those 3 big problems, which is, again, the missed damages, the disputes and customer service issues that went along with them, and providing some window into to fleet quality. But I knew, I couldn't just hang my hat on car rental, albeit it is hundreds of millions of transactions a year, and trillions of assets being exchanged. So I did some research and found, it wasn't just car rental that was having this problem. You take your car to the dealership, the body shop, heavy equipment rental, transport companies, freight forwarders, tow companies, VRBOs, apartment rentals, property management. I mean, it was billions of transactions and trillions in asset exchanges being done every year using paper. So again, we went down the path, did our research, knew we were onto something. and created Record360, which is, in a nutshell, it's a digital documentation solution that provides a great quality documentation file. You're able to capture and point out damages, points of interest, and all that rolls into an asset management platform, providing that final window in to your product quality. Again, whether you're a car rental company, you're you want to do QA for a body shop after the work's been completed, transport companies, property management, VRBOs, and so on. So in all those industries that I mentioned, we have paid customers. We just launched 3 months ago, so we were in beta for really fine tuning the product for the first 12 months. And we launched about 3 months ago, and we have customers in all those verticals that I named already. So it's exciting.
Well, so this, what you said, it really kind of protects both the business as well as the consumer or the renter, right?
Exactly. And that's what's fun about it. It's not, there's a lot of products out there. There's a lot of great ideas that might be focused on, helping a consumer. It might be focused on helping a business. But what's neat about our product is I feel like we're like the third party, independent third party escrow for these files. So we're really helping both parties. I mean, we're creating a fairness during that exchange process. And it's fun to get feedback from, you're helping companies save money, and you're helping consumers to not be charged for frivolous damage claims that they had not done and may have been charged for in the past. So it's it's rewarding this whole venture too, and we've gotten great press on the consumer side, because again, there's two sides of the transaction: the business and consumer. So not only are we getting great traction with business accounts, but we've been in everywhere from Forbes.com to Fortune to Entrepreneur Magazine to we're in the Seattle Times here on Monday, Washington Post, US Today Travel, because it really resonates. It's hard to find somebody that hasn't had a bad experience during an asset exchange. Whether it's you rented your apartment in college and never got your deposit back, or you rented a car from Enterprise and you got a bill a couple weeks later in the mail for damage that you had not thought you caused. So it definitely resonates well, and it's a big problem.
Well, I was going to ask you, from a kind of a business standpoint, it makes a lot of sense to kind of minimize this kind of or level the playing field of who said what, right? Yeah, hey, I agree with you. Those 1-inch little diagrams with the 4 wheels, you're looking on top of the vehicle, little guy scratching. But a lot of times when I went to the at least the rental company I used, I didn't use Enterprise, so you could guess who the other two was, right? So the guy was so stacked up with vehicles at like 4 to 5 o'clock because we're all trying to catch a plane freaking in somewhere, that he wasn't even checking the vehicles. I mean, he'd like walk around and kind of like, okay, thanks, Mr. Valoria, for choosing whatever, and
we'll send you a claim in 2 weeks.
Yeah, so it's like I can imagine from a CRM standpoint, it's kind of like getting a speeding ticket in the mail 2 weeks later after the thing happened. It's like, what what happened?
It's interesting if you you do a Google search on car rental disputes. I mean, literally, Greg, you could read to the end of your days, because it's really is endless. I mean, there's a lot of those situations where people do walk away. They get on their flight, they think everything's fine and dandy, and they'll get a bill a few weeks later. And again, it's not it's not the car rental company attempting to do anything inappropriate. It's just, it is what it is. They go back and look at the last rental, and again, they're going off those paper forms or nothing at all. And, and they're trying to recoup, fairly, rightfully trying to recoup their losses.
Now let's take the audience through what a typical flow of using Record360 would like. I think that would be kind of interesting. You don't have to demo it, but you could just take them through the flow of how the transaction goes. It seems like pretty simple. It
is. It's super simple. I mean, the underpinnings are really complex. As I mentioned, there's 10 plus verticals that we're in today, and all those verticals and then customers within their verticals have their own unique check-in, check-out documentation process needs. So we have a very configurable workflow, and I compare it to, my 4-year-old loves playing with Legos, and he loves building Legos, taking them apart, reordering them. That's what we're able to do with our workflow to really provide a great solution to all of these different verticals and customers within them. So, but to the actual user, we knew, keeping it very simple, we knew transaction time was important because people are trying to catch their flights. They are, trying to get to work. They are trying to get home to see their families. So for them, I mean, it literally is as quick as you can walk around and do a video, and you simply just tap the screen when you see points of damage. You're able to, capture an entirety of the asset. And the video, it's not where you did mark on the paper contract that you have your disputes. It's where you don't mark. So a video provides a full quality, documentation. You can augment it with voice. So, if you got, inclement weather, you've got, maybe the car is dirty or whatnot, and it's hard to pick up maybe via your camera phone. You're able to augment with voice, and then again, augment with those touch notations, where then you're able to tag those notations with specific customizable tags. So, whether it's large dent, small dent, and we're able to provide values to those tags. And that's where the asset management part is really pretty awesome for our company. We're able to, we're building out a scoring system where, you can, if you're enterprise and you have hundreds of thousands of vehicles in fleet, we're able to score out and tell you as a manager or as a CEO or as a CFO, what is the most damaged vehicle in my fleet. So then they can go and take action on it, whether that means, during the cycling decisions where they're putting new cars in and pulling used cars out, they're able to choose those cars that are in worse shape, or, pick up the phone and call a branch and say, hey, that's not a good representation of our brand. You need to go get that vehicle fixed. So it really does. But again, as quick as you can walk around a vehicle is as quick as you can, you can do a documentation. And we're going to take it a step further. We're in partnership talks with a large technology firm in regards to image recognition and machine learning to take the subjectivity and the human error out of even that simple documentation process. And our solution will go as far as telling you, where the damages are and what the differences are from rental to rental. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be really special here in the coming months.
Wow. Yeah. And I think, well, let's shift to business a little bit and talk about that. This service, I guess for the company side, it could be integrated into their workflow very easy. You just said, right? Somehow. Yeah,
very much so. So whether it's, we have APIs where we can pull data, push data, or we can just lift out our entire solution and drop it into, maybe an RO system or CR system workflow. So it's, again, very nimble, and, and again, it provides to, again, all those different verticals. There's opportunity for a solution to fit into the workflow in some capacity.
So is it now let's talk about a little bit about the revenue model. Is it for the consumer side just a downloadable app that you charge, or is it freemium? On
the consumer side, it's a freemium. So it's a standard workflow. It's a set workflow, so they don't have the customization features. And there is a limit on transactions, but I mean, for a general user, corporate traveler even, they're going to have plenty of room to do whatever they need to do to cover their assets, as we like to say.
Cover their assets. Okay, I caught that.
And then on the business side, it's a SaaS model. So it's easy to implement. And again, you don't have to go out and buy hardware. We can leverage your in most cases your current employee devices or tablets or whatever they're using for their other software needs.
Wow, that's cool. So, we went through some of the revenue model, but like from a business standpoint, you're a startup. How many people on your team? It seems like you need a lot of people for this type of thing.
We're getting there, but we have there's 9 of us today, and growing. So again, we only launched about 3 months ago, and but yeah, I mean every month, we're growing and growing and growing. We got over 50 customers now. Names maybe you've heard of Penske. We have their SoCal dealership group. We have a large car sharing company on board that we're expanding with right now. We have Mitsui, which is the $50 billion Japanese conglomerate. We have their equipment rental arm here in the U.S. Flight Car, which is a car sharing program based in San Fran. That if you take your car to the airport, they'll rent your car while you're while you're on travel. So we have them as a customer nationwide. So yeah, we're making great progress. It's fun.
Wow, that's great. Well, 9 people, and I think we talked offline. You bootstrapped all this. That's amazing. I mean, now you have some obviously some angel angel rounds now, but still, that's just freaking amazing. Wow.
Fun.
Now, were a lot of these people on your team, like how did you, I think what a lot of startups ask me is, how do I put a team together? Like, were these people you knew already from industry, or were these like, you just had to start from scratch? I had this idea, go find a technical guy, go find, how did you do this?
Yeah, and for me, the most enjoyable part was putting together what I think is an outstanding team. And it started with my co-founder, Damon Haber. Him and I worked together in Los Angeles. We wrote the business plan and launched the luxury car division for Enterprise together, which is now a very large, successful division within the company. So that was an easy one. We had a great working relationship. We worked together for years. But then from there, just, network, right? And, you find talent in the most interesting of places. So as an example, my CTO, I'm also on the board for the Special Olympics here in Washington. And a fellow board member does a lot of startups. And I was, telling him about a year ago that I was looking for a CTO. And his prior CTO that the two of them had a successful exit on, was looking for an opportunity. So connected us. And, months later, we got Greg Harrison on board as our CTO. Again, very accomplished. He was the SVP of product dev for ComScore, the large, kind of the Nielsen ratings for the internet. So, again, a great track record, successful exit in the past. And then through one of our investors, we were looking for some marketing help. And we came across Keith Monroe, who was VP of global marketing with EA Sports. So, just impressive to say the least, branding guru, ex-Unilever. And, so I put together this great core of 4 outstanding folks. Ryan Anderson's my VP of sales. I met him through, again, networking through a good friend, knew I was in the market for looking for somebody. So, networking, letting people know what you're looking for. And then once you have an opportunity to get somebody on board, having the, sharing your vision and getting them excited about your vision. So, so they want to come work for you, for what usually is, more equity versus salary. And so, they're taking on risk too. So, but it's fun. We got an outstanding team. I'm really, really happy with the team.
Yeah, I think with all the verticals you just mentioned, you'll need a very strong team to attack each one, wholeheartedly. So
and then we filled the gap with an advisory board. So where we had weaknesses, we went through and filled that. And I've got some really, really impressive folks on the advisory board. Again, they're helping out because they enjoy it. They want to see us to be successful. And it's not always about the cash compensation to draw people in. It's about them making a connection with them, networking and wanting to be successful and enjoying what they're doing, right?
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's great because I think you put together what I call the ideal model for a startup, is actually having a board or advisory board to kind of guide you along the way as well. Wow, that's fascinating. Okay, well, I'll let you get into your week. I know we just started here on Monday here, and I'm sure with 50 verticals you're attacking and getting out of your beta, I think you have a lot of work to do. But anyway, tell everyone in the audience how to get a hold of Record360.
Yeah, so you can visit our website at record360.com. Also, feel free to email us at info@record360.com and, look us up. And, it's, again, a great solution, a great product. We're solving a big problem and happy to help anybody that could use it.
Okay. Wow. I appreciate your time. And anyway, thanks again. Anyway, that was Shane Skinner.
That was a pleasure, Greg.
Oh, yeah.
Pleasure.
Our pleasure.
Look forward to catching up when I'm in San Fran too.
Yeah, we'll do an interview. So anyway, that was Shane Skinner, everyone, CEO of Record360, helping lower the cost of rental car damage disputes, actually, or rental disputes in general. So thanks for joining us, everyone. This is Greg Valoria, aka Social Greg on Twitter, for the Nerd Stalker Media Network, where we believe in tech, startups, design, and you. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and be careful out there. Okay, thanks again, Shane.
Take care.
Okay. We